Welcome to this Dynamic Maps video where we'll explore how to control layers and base maps in MapThat mobile. Once the app opens, we centre over the UK. So first thing, bottom left hand corner with our finger, let's click on the browse button, then choose the home or the house. That will zoom into the project's default location, so it sets it to a zoom level and centres the map on a pair of coordinates. To access the layers or base maps, bottom left hand corner, click on the browse button again with your finger. That opens up our tools in MapThat mobile, and it's the third one across, the layers icon. Let's click on that with our finger. This is our choose layers menu. We'll look at base maps a little bit later, but in bottom left you can see we're in the layers option. At the top there we've got options for cancelling, clearing our selections and updating our map. So if we didn't want to make a change in the map, we can just press cancel now, which is the red X cancel. Click on that with our finger and we return to the map window. We haven't made any changes. Bottom left again, let's click on browse, open up our layers panel. This time we can see we've got our trees or our headers, so we've grouped data into our environmental, points of interest, planning, and we can click on the drop down arrows and reveal the layers below. We can click on those arrows again, or the tree header text, and it brings the tree back in again. Let's have a look at environmental layers. These are actually web map services, so WMS layers. Actually, these are external ones across the internet. So let's tick on the flood WMS and click on the radio button with our finger. It ticks and turns that layer on, and we can actually see the rendered icon or style for that layer in the layers panel, which is really helpful. Top right, let's press on the amber update option, and that will update the map to turn that particular layer on. You can see we've now managed to turn the flood zones, which is an external WMS layer. Let's go back into the layers panel, bottom left, click on layers. If we want to clear that particular layer, we could either click on the radio button to untick that layer. There's also a clear all option we'll look at in a second. Let's choose multiple layers this time, so let's choose local nature reserves and also the flood WMS layers. We've got two there. Top right, let's press update, the amber update, and this time the map updates and we can see we've got some green local nature reserves and we've got the blue flood zones. So if we want to clear that map, bottom left, click on the browse, then click on the layers icon. We could either untick them individually, but if we just press the blue clear all, that will untick any layer that's currently selected. Press update, return to the map, and we can see that we have cleared all of the layers in our map window now. Let's have a look at another layer. Before we do that, let's just zoom into street level, and we're going to look at the planning applications for Liverpool. So click on the browse button, the layers option, and this time this WMS layer is under planning, and it's the Liverpool planning apps. So if we press update, the map will refresh. These are actually planning applications stored in a SQL database, but GeoServer's republishing these as a WMS. And what's great about this is they're very lightweight. We can render the data very quickly, but we can also interrogate that data. So press the browse button at the bottom left, open up our menus for MapThat mobile, and it's the second one from the right hand side. It's our data reader or attribute option. So if we click on that, it'll then ask us which layer within the map we want to interrogate. So let's choose Liverpool planning apps by pressing on the name there and pressing OK. And then if we can see top left, we've gone into reading mode, so we're now interrogating the data. It's telling us which layer just below that we're interrogating, Liverpool planning apps WMS. And if we click on a feature, and if there's multiple features at that location in the map, it'll bring those feature IDs back. So we've got 5 planning apps on top of each other there. Let's choose the first one, and it gives us a full details for that planning application, including the app number, the address, proposal details, etc. So if we press close, and then close that menu out. If we want to stop interrogating data now, because we could click on another feature and get some information back, top right hand corner, just press cancel, and that takes you out of the data reader mode. What we're going to do is just clear that map, so click on the layers button, we're going to choose clear all and choose update, and we come back to our map. So we can render WMS layers from GeoServer, and we can also interrogate that data using the data reader option. Let's have a look at some other types of layers. We're just going to go back to the home for Liverpool, and this time we might have some point data. So click on the browse button, choose the layers icon again, and this time we'll look at points of interest. So this could be spatial data, but it could also be data point layers, we call them in MapThat, where we've taken the X and Y location to render the points on a map. We're going to choose the Liverpool schools, so if we click on that, MapThat Mobile will also take any of the thematics that you've created in MapThat. So here we've got the type of school, attendance details, or number of pupils. Is it high or is it low? So we've got blues and reds. We could also untick those to actually filter the data in the map if we wanted to. But let's just press update, and the map updates to show us that layer within the map. We've got our blue dots and our red dots, and as we pan and zoom into the map, notice the map's auto refreshing. So let's go to another location as we move around. See the map is flashing and auto loading that data. If you want to, there's also a arrow there that you can press below the compass point, top left, and that will refresh the map for you. If you find the data is not rendering, just refresh the map yourselves. Again, we can also interrogate this data, so press the browse button. Let's choose the attribute option, that's the second from right. It tells us which layers we've got in the map, so we want to interrogate these schools. So we'll choose the schools, press OK, and then simply click on top of, with your finger, the school point, and it brings the attributes back for that. So in this case, it's just the name of the school. But we can click on another one and get the name for that one. There might be multiple schools on top of each other there, so it's telling us there's 2 features. Let's close that. Again, let's cancel out of the reader mode. And let's turn on another layer. This time, let's just clear that particular layer and press update. What we're going to do is just zoom out slightly in Liverpool so we can see where our data is. And we're going to turn on some spatial data. So from the browse button, we've clicked there. We're going to click on the layers button. We'll just hide back the points of interest tree, and let's have a look at some planning data. So this is spatial data. This could be points, lines and polygons, and we've got some planning apps here, so we'll press that, and we'll also turn on the grass verges layer. So we've got 2 layers turning on there. Notice how the planning apps have got a thematic against them, so we could actually say, do you know what, I don't want to show the ones that have been submitted, I just want passed and declined. So let's press update, and if we zoom into our map, the grass verges are the darker green areas there, and the planning apps are the ones in red and the light green. Let's say we did want the ones that were submitted. Let's click on our browse button again, click on our layers panel. Let's come back in and just tick the submitted options within our theme there, update our map, and we can see just at the top there, there's some blue boxes, which is the submitted planning applications. Again, we can interrogate this data, click on our browse to open up our menu, click on our data reader icon. This time, MapThat Mobile notices there's more than 1 layer in the map, so is it the planning apps or the grass verges? Let's choose our planning apps, and then when we click in the map, it brings the information back for that particular feature. Let's cancel out of the reading mode again. Let's go back in, and this time in the layers option, we've had a look at turning on and off our layers. Let's have a look at Basemaps now. So bottom right hand corner, let's choose Basemaps. So any number of base maps that you've got in your MapThat projects will come through into MapThat Mobile. By default in this project we're showing OpenStreetMap, but I could change that to the OS Maps. So tick the OS Maps, the radio button there. Again, choose Update. We come back to the map, and now we render and we load in the OS Maps API. And that will take us right down to master map details. So we've got the actual building outlines now from the Ordnance Survey, and we can pan along and we can zoom in and we can view that data as we move along the road and look at the planning applications. Let's have a look at another option. I know for this particular project in my base maps I've also got satellite imagery, so we'll click on that option there. We'll choose Update, and the map changes a base map to show me my satellite imagery there. So MapThat will render any number of spatial data point and WMS layers, as well as show you any of your base maps that you have available in MapThat. Many thanks for watching this video.